Hey everyone, Vidette here. I am in our garden. The Storehouse garden has begun. It's not quite the physical one, but I just put a video out about it yesterday, I think it was. So this is my parents' garden actually, but this is where Bud and I are getting ideas, learning how to do things, how to make boxes, and how to plant things. However, this has also become part of what I'm calling my studio. And in order to manifest what it is that we want, we have to be it. And we have to be in the energy of it. Oh, there's a little ladybug. I wish I could show you. I don't know how to switch my camera around. But we have some ladybug energy. I'll have to post at the end of this video what that's all about. I mean, nature's always saying hi, it's always popping up with a message. And that is why I'm finding that the garden is becoming part of the studio. And in my experience with studios, I've always kind of kept a little corner of my house for the last few years, many years, a creative corner. And then the last house that Bud and I had together, we had like a full studio. It was amazing, y'all. Like, I go in there and paint. I was making my own deck of cards. He would make dream catchers. I would paint. Painting is such an outlet for me. I could journal in the studio, but obviously, like, the metaphor here is that I am the studio, you are the studio. Where you are, the studio is. Where you are, the creative space is you. So studios are very much an important aspect in my physical world, because I want to enter into a studio and enter into a sacred place where what I choose to do in that moment is how I choose to commune and converse with my supernal channel, with my team, with my guides, with cosmic universal communication. So what I'm finding is that having a physical garden space to invite into my inner studio, my communication is exploding here with the cosmic broadcast system. Things are coming in so clearly. Messages are I don't know how to describe it. I mean, they are visual. They're pretty much visual, although they're not in my physical reality. But that's what's happening. I'm seeing things very clearly before they become reality. And my last video or two has been about like the intensity in these last couple of weeks of energy. And I just put a post out on Instagram because I got a very clear and poignant message this morning that the light of the world is being transferred now. And we've known that is a thing, and it's been building, that transfer has been building. But what I'm understanding about this very time frame, April, is kind of when things go from energetic to through one of the four ways that energy turns into matter: cohesion, adhesion, resistance, and there's one more, y'all. It'll come to me. But what we're learning now is the art of manifestation, and taking this clear channel and being able to bring through science. Now we're understanding how to bring it into manifestation. So that is the experiment that I am using for Storehouse Social. I can see now what this Storehouse Social, what is being built out, is a community, is a like-minded community where we can have more of a deeper conversation and have social events that are the evolution of what we used to always love. We always love getting together and partying and being with people and fundraising and doing all kinds of cool stuff. But as I get older, I want to do it in a more calmer and meaningful way. And so everything is elevating. Like, everything that I've always loved is hosting, is is having people come to a garden, and have it just be simple. Come to my garden and let's hang out. Let's have a deeper conversation. Maybe we'll have dinner over that conversation and raise money for the local community here or for your local community. How do we get back to old school living? How do we get back to nostalgic living? And have it be simpler, but have all of the knowledge that we've brought with us through this massive expansion of busyness and innovation and all of the things that have taken us away from the simplicity and the sustainability of life. I want to get back to that world, but bring with us what we know. Can we use technology? Can we use, can we use technology to authentically connect people worldwide in a network that is also a physical network that expands out in helping individual communities as well as communities of light all over the world? Storehouse Social is becoming more and more of a hub, of a place for those in a higher perspective of life now, in a more meaningful respect for life. Like, man, you respect life. Like, you're not gonna do something that's not worth your time anymore. And I'm noticing that there's so many of the things that I used to do that I loved, but it's just not worth my time going to a bar and partying until I'm, and until I'm too drunk to remember, like that served me at one point. I had a good time in those days. And when I come to this time, like what I would love is, I do love a beer, a good cold beer, to sit around in a campfire with someone, with people on my left and people on my right circled around, and we're all having really deep conversation, but we have a beer too. We're like, all right, good night, and we're in bed by 9. So Storehouse Social is becoming the place that I want to hang out, that I like, and part of it is a studio, and I'm finding like, well, a studio is a lot of different things to me now, and this is becoming a studio, because it is helping me connect deeper. All the ways that we can connect deeper with ourselves, with each other, with our planet, with our universe, until we come to that conclusion together of what it means to be all one. Those are the things that we're exploring now in my world. And we want to create a world that, that where everybody kind of does that. Like, it just seems so natural. Like, why doesn't everybody just want to have fun, have a good time, and just make the world a better place in their own way? And it sounds very, optimistic. And yet, to me, it's just how life is. Like, I see it so clearly. I see how I've created my own life to be quite joyful, and I've been through a lot of shit. And, I've become a lot more intelligent. I've become a lot more discerning with where I spend my time, how I spend my time. I have hardened up and solidified, not solidified because it's always, work in progress, but I've really, I have built a really important foundation, I think, in morals and values. And if something or someone doesn't hit a moral value, like, it doesn't have to be a drama. I just don't need it, So there's like a certainty in who I am now. And Storehouse Social is becoming a certainty in who it is meant to be, because I'm seeing it paying out. The storehouse is paying out in dividends, y'all. And if you go to the spiritual aspect, the symbolism of storehouse, the storehouse is the place where we're always provisioned. We are always taken care of. We're taken cared of. We are provisioned. We are sustained by the storehouse of good. It is as full as you have given, as you have deposited it into it. Basically, it will return to you all that you have put into it. So if you have put in love, and you have, the intention for everything that you have ever done and been, and your intentions have been good, maybe you were messy about it, maybe things fell apart, maybe you feel like you fell on your face, but your intention was good. You've been filling that storehouse, and that what's happening now in this massive, massive influx of energy, the light is being transferred now, the wealth of the light is being transferred now, goes to all of those who have been fully putting in all their lives, just, you know, trying to be a good person, but maybe just fucking it up along the way, you know, like, you know, things go wrong. And then that's been my world. That's given me the perspective that I have now. But I wouldn't change what I've done, because I've always done it with like, this is growth. And then the other side of this is, you know, if you're a complete douchebag and you've been just taking and taking and taking and taking and siphoning and sucking energy out of others to just fill yourself up, because you don't do the, you know, your own work. It's just easier to manipulate and deceive. Well, you know, this energy that's coming in, the light of the world is coming in, right now it's pretty, this right now, right here, this is flooding out at this moment. Solar flares. I just had a thing before I got on here, an alert. So there is some pretty major, so there's something happening, and what's happened as I stepped into the studio, my communication immediately went on, and I kept feeling an energy, a presence. I talked about the same presence on yesterday's, I'm calling them Storehouse Stories, like the story of how this place comes to become reality. I'm in the studio creating it as we speak, and it is literally speaking back. And it was that presence that I talked about yesterday. It was really big. And I put out, I got out of my backpack something I wanted to read. If you're not on Elizabeth Peru's The Tip-Off Global Energy Forecast, and you're in this conversation, it's such an amazing, just it's an informational, essential for me to see what's coming up, you know, astrologically, because it all matters. You know, when a big planet like Jupiter comes into, you know, into close orbit with Earth, don't you think that like a big presence comes into any room, you can feel that, and it changes the environment of the whole room, right? Well, shit, planets are the same way. So when like a planet comes in, or a comet goes through our atmosphere, or stars are aligned, like literally stars were aligned 2 weeks ago, and like that changes the whole vibration of everything too, of our whole universe, which means you too. So it's like, it's a, you know, it's a logical thing now, like, oh, this is greatly going to affect the energy in which my planet orbits the sun and flies through space. So because I'm part of my planet, I am going to be changing and altering who I am, so I can also fly through this place in space and be able to calibrate with the energy of it. And if a big presence comes into orbit, then it's going to give us the sensation, the feeling of a big presence. And when we have the sensation and the feeling, and eventually the resonance shifts, that big presence manifests through those 4 steps. See if I can remember them now. Cohesion. Oh, I have them written in my backpack. Somebody help me. Cohesion, something. I'm going to put them on here. But through those 4, you know, the 4 ways that things manifest, quantum mechanics come from energy into matter, that happens, and that big presence becomes a thing, a circumstance, a person that shows up in your life. So I've been talking about feeling a really big presence, like big. And I go to Elizabeth Peru to see what's coming up, and I took out the total solar eclipse week. Again, it's the tip-off. It's on her elizabethperu.com. I, again, highly recommend it, because the first thing I read is this eclipse season. We are starting a 2-week eclipse season. This is huge, y'all. Listen. This is the imminent life renewal builds. It starts to like imminent life renewal. Like, so when something is imminent, I talked about this yesterday too on the video about, you know, this big presence was just on the horizon. Now I'm reading a day later, it's imminent. any moment now, life renewal, bam, starts. That's for those of us having this conversation. Life renewal comes when the storehouse opens up and all of the energy that you put in it now just pours over you all at once. All at once. So you've got that spiritual leadership energy. Therefore, you are the storehouse. You are a walking and beautiful expression of the storehouse. Where you walk, you just give of yourself, you give of your light. You don't even have to like try to give, you just are it. So you are the storehouse. And the storehouse this week is, it's like, I mean, it's imminent now. I say this week, but that's what I've been saying this week. But it is going to open up in a really big way, in a really big way. The other thing she says here is, it's your moment to act. Again, this is elizabethperu.com. Please, I need to give her credit for this, because what's happening for me, she's helping me connect the dot. This presence I talked about on the video yesterday, I have words, and it's her words that are helping me put it together so I can link, you know, a growth spurt from today's video to yesterday's. So she says, it's your moment to act. Allow and let the universe deliver your rewards. This is our time. Here's what comes to me out of this. Holy shit, the pole shift is imminent. That's what I get. There's something imminent. We know when it becomes our time, the pole shift of, you know, the physical world being at the top where everybody's headed, like, oh, I just have to fix the physical world. Nope. We have to go back to the true nature of who we are, go back to the spiritual operating system. And those of us who have been nurturing that, who have been becoming, you know, studying it, researching it, practicing experiments, experimenting, those of us who have been scientists of the spiritual living and living in a completely different direction than most people, and we have felt weird and odd and think differently and perceive life differently for so long. This is our time. We know that our time comes into physical existence at a point in time where everything shifts, a big present life renewal happens. A life renewal ascension happens. I don't know. I feel like these are more clues, so I'm going to share this on this story. I want to thank my beautiful setting here, my studio garden. This is where we get to practice and learn and get messy with gardening and learning how to build this garden into something completely abundant and sustainable for my parents and our family and hopefully we're hoping our community, like we could set out a box old school style at the end of the driveway, you know, because we have an abundance, and say, you know, put some money in, like make a donation. Don't be a jerk and take it, just put something in, you know. That's how I grew up, and that's kind of the lifestyle I want to get back to, and it feels very imminent to when everything aligns and it all comes into fruition. The dreams are coming into fruition. So be very, very cognizant and discerning, like I said yesterday, of what's going on in that mind of yours, because this is the second person and someone I have had a high regard and respect for, Elizabeth Peru, and the work that she has done and committed to and has been doing for a very long time. I trust her. So when I read her words and it confirms what I already know, because I trust what comes to me and I just share it with y'all, I'm like, something big's coming. I don't know, like hang on to your pennies, because it could be exciting. I think it's going to be, in our world, it's going to be really exciting. To other people, they're going to lose their panties. They're going to lose it all. But that's the storehouse, you know, that they will get what they have put in. It's just that's what's happening, you know. This is what's happening right now, but this is our time. So that's why I say hold on to your panties, because I think it could be exciting when we're finally like, yes, now you see why we've been thinking that way. Now you see why we did what we did, okay? And we start to make sense to people. So, but at the same time, that's not when we, you know, we don't do what old leadership would do and strut around and be like, yeah, I'm right. We do what new leadership does, and we just say, it's okay. Come with me. I'll show you the way. And that's where we hold the line. And we start to create that whole new world by helping others find their whole new world. So good things happening. This is our time. Thanks for coming in to the garden today. Bye.